Packers will have a first and goal. Receiver to the right, Jimmy Graham. Rodgers, quick toss in the flat, left side, got his man for the end zone, and a touchdown.
First and Goal podcast on Spreaker.com. And we're now on all your favorite platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, Cashbox, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can always follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod, and our Facebook page, facebook.com/First and Goal Pod 33.
Get money, yeah. Every day I'm hustling. 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 3, 2, 1.
And welcome everybody to another live edition of First and Goal with me, your founder and producer, Jay in the UP. And down in Georgia, your host with the most, it's Dave.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Jay?
I think we speak together here. We're both pretty tired. It's been a long day.
Yeah, a little warped.
A little warped. A few beers. Game. Busyness. I got a lot of first layer of brick done on my basement door down here today, and the floor poured again. Lots of work being done. Let's get right to it, Dave, with the news.
Well, I mean, there's only a couple things that came out. I mean, it's been kind of quiet, but there is a couple things. Antonio Brown is very close to practicing after his foot injury with the cryotherapy. And, I mean, it looks like AB, after losing his helmet appeal, just went on like, okay, let's get back to football. And I'm ready to see the old AB, like the good one, come back and not this one that's causing all this trouble, because he was fun to watch. And I just don't, I'm just sick of the AB shenanigans that's on the Raiders right now. I think he needs to get to work and keep rolling.
The referring to has gone to pasture and is no more. This is the new aging, not as productive, not quite as good.
I have faith he can come back.
He's never going to be the same again. He's 32 years old. He's already losing a step.
A man can have hope.
Come back. No, you wouldn't let me have hope before, Dave, so you would get no hope on AB. None. No hope.
Anyways, so the XFL made some news today. Former Steelers QB Landry Jones signed with the XFL to start in 2020. I've been also reading, too, that the XFL is ready to throw the whole money bag at Trevor Lawrence and put him in the best possible position to win for the XFL and make him a rich man right out of the gate. I really hope that doesn't happen, because Trevor Lawrence is one of the best talented QBs that come out of college for not this year, but the next year. And actually, no, he has a sophomore. Actually, not this year, but next year he would come out.
2021
no,
draft, he will be eligible.
Yeah, so next year. Yeah, next year after the season.
And Dave, just to throw this in, the XFL is owned and going to be a one-owner, 8-team league, and the owner is going to be Vince McMahon.
I know who it is.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just, for all the people that don't know, I'm talking to Dave. Sorry.
People didn't know that?
Well, maybe some people live under a freaking rock. I don't know. I'm just trying to be.
You mean in the UP?
How and why, Dave? How and why? And don't pick on people in the UP. That's not nice.
I called you Greffy today.
Jeez.
And I may be a little tipsy too, because I had a couple drinks.
Yeah,
I had a couple drinks at Dylan's wedding.
So it's owned by Vince McMahon. He's paying the players flipping the bill for all 8 teams. So I also believe that they also have talked about eventually having a partnership with the NFL so that it doesn't happen with the USFL, what happened. But Vince also is a smart businessman. He's going to do things that seem like that he's not interested in a partnership to force the NFL to recognize him, to partner with him. And one of those things, Dave, would be getting guys first-round picks, especially quarterbacks that could be potential number 1 overall picks, getting them to at least listen and talk to you at some level about foregoing NFL draft. That will force the NFL's hand a lot quicker in trying to talk partnership with the XFL, and then ultimately what they would like to do, I believe, because that's what they'd said from the get-go. I think this is a excellent, ingenious way of forcing that in a accelerated fashion, Dave. So I'm not worried about it. I just think it's a business ploy and a smart one by Mr. McMahon there.
Yeah, but to me, Trevor Lawrence, if I'm a college QB coming straight out, what's the goal? It's NFL. Like, that's supposed to be the elite level. XFL, to me, is just a redheaded stepchild that is off to the side. Yeah, they're throwing money at you, but, I mean, the way he's playing right now, it looks like he's going to get a mega deal after his rookie deal. And if I was Lawrence, I wouldn't even look at the XFL.
Well, you have to consider, too, Trevor Lawrence is coming out the draft of the year of the new CBA being negotiated also, 2021. So
that's a big factor as well.
Who knows what is going to just to get off without getting on a tangent, I believe that with all the stuff going on with running backs, with the rookies pay scale, it is absolutely unintentionally screwed running backs in a horrendous way that no other position gets abused as far as being on a rookie pay scale and then being able to be franchised. Essentially, your entire career can be used up at bottom market value. You'll never see top dollar for most of these guys, okay? Or you have to sacrifice that to money to go to a team that you're never going to win on. I'm not saying that everything in life is fair, but I'm sorry, when you're the only position that this seems to be happening to, it needs to be addressed, okay? Because running backs, and that's the other thing too, is running backs transition a lot sooner and a lot quicker to the NFL. That maybe one of the things that needs to be considered is that if you're not going to give them a different kind of deal when they're coming out of college as far as their contracts and how it can be negotiated for that position because of what's happened over the last 10 years, then maybe they need to consider letting these guys come out early. If you're a running back, why can't running backs be the only position that can come out after 1 year of college?
True.
Because it's been proven that these guys only have so many hits. They age 3 times faster than everybody else. So and they have no opportunity to get paid because they're done by 30. So if you're a 19, 18-year-old kid, you need to be able to come into the NFL to be able to earn maximum dollar before you're 30 at 20, 21 years old at the latest. You can't be coming in at 23, 24 years old. You're screwed then. You get out of your rookie deal and you're already a year away. Nobody's paying you. It's just, I guess it's a completely unbalanced situation when it comes to running backs and the way that the CBA is set up with the rookie pay scale and how you can be franchised and all that. I've noticed
it's mostly based off of quarterbacks when it comes through the CBA because of the whole Jamarcus Russell thing. Right. That was a big problem with it, and they based every rookie contract off of that instead of position-wise. Right. I fully agree on that.
And it wasn't intended, and it didn't happen to the receivers or other places. It's a consequence that, again, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but it does need to be addressed because it's the only position on both sides of the ball this is happening to. And it's just not right.
Blame Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, well, the other problem is, and it's an excellent point, what's going to end up happening is you're not going to get premier athletes that want to play running back, and then the running back is not going to be a fun position to watch anymore. And I'm sorry, there's two things that are proven no matter how they change the rules, and we've talked about this before, Dave. When it comes to playoffs and Super Bowl times, you have to be able to play defense, stop the run, and run the rock. Okay? And they change the rules 1,000 times, and come playoff time, those two things become more prevalent than anything else, more than the passing game or anything else. If you can't run the ball, stop the run, and play defense, you don't go, and you have no chance of winning a championship. And so, therefore, we don't want, the position as we know it to be changed because our premier athletes are choosing not to play because they realize they can't make any money before they turn 30 at that position, and their bodies get abused twice as bad as everybody else that's on the field now too, because they're not afforded all the same protection, and wide receiver and all that stuff with, blindside hits. Running backs are still allowed to get the crap knocked out of them on a down in and down out basis. So again, just something that kind of popped in my head. I got on a tangent, sorry, but
a little bit.
Yeah, it just
actually mentioning running backs. We have 2 running backs still out, Elliott and Gordon, and news came out about Gordon and the Chargers. They are nowhere even in the same neighborhood for a new contract. So, I mean, I really do see Melvin Gordon possibly being traded. I mean, we always talk about it happening, but I think Gordon might be traded because the fact that the Chargers have Eckler and they have a running back behind him as well. So it's not like they don't have depth there to be able to rely on that. And Rivers has the arm to be able to carry more of a load than leaning on Gordon like they have in the past. So, I mean, Gordon really doesn't have a good position there. Elliott apparently was reported today that he was in the best shape of his life since his rookie year. And also as well, he will not budge on lowering his needs and wants for a contract with the Cowboys.
Can I just say the Cowboys are in a world of trouble? They decided to spend money on the defensive side of the ball, which was justified because they were players. They were spending money.
They needed it. They were getting toasted every year on the defense.
No, I was saying it's justified because it wasn't spending money frivolously on somebody else's free agents that you're overpaying. They had guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, who they drafted, developed, turned into a stud. You got to pay that guy, okay?
He's a blue chipper.
Right. If you don't pay that guy, you're setting a horrible standard for the rest of the team. So you didn't have a choice but to pay DeMarcus Lawrence to keep a certain standard that all teams kind of have to. It's kind of an unwritten rule, right? Otherwise, it kind of starts screwing up your locker room when it comes contract negotiations with other players. But they also drafted a lot of damn good players on the other side of the ball and traded for one that's a young player in Amari Cooper. And the problem is that because they have a great team, Dak Prescott and the media around him have decided that he's some sort of superstar quarterback that can carry this team. And we've already seen if you remove Zeke from the equation, he's not even close to the same quarterback even with Amari Cooper, okay? And so this is what we talked about before. Dak Prescott is going to force the Dallas Cowboys to overpay him. And if I was Jerry Jones, this would be the thing where if I was going to be stubborn, you want to talk about ripping a card to draft Johnny Manziel, somebody needs to rip the checkbook out of this guy's hand. You cannot pay Ezekiel Elliott if you want to win a championship because he's a running back. You can't pay them and win championships. I'm just saying, it's just one of the things. You pay Amari Cooper, Davante Adams money because there's too many good players on this team in the next couple of years that you drafted and developed that are already proven they deserve money. You have to consider that. Dak Prescott needs 2, 3, 4 receivers. He needs extra linemen. He needs extra running backs that can be productive. If you don't have the money to pay those guys and have actual decent, productive veteran players and still have young up-and-coming guys coming around, you're going to find out that this team will fall to the wayside a lot faster than it did in the early 2000s. And Dak now is really believing the hype of the media and the results of his own statistics based on having a stacked team, and he's going to put himself in a really bad position. And if the Cowboys need to see the writing on the wall that